Key number one, curiosity. Now, curiosity may have killed the cat, but concentration nearly caused Ford's conquests to crumble. Now, 100 years ago, Henry Ford was the man. Sharp as a straight razor, he was laser focused on shaving the production cost of the Model T so thin they could sit still on a $1 bill. He spent mill after mill bringing his vision to life, but the sweat and strife were all worth it because he knew that this was how he could win. He was a man obsessed with efficiency. Fitting that he got his thrills by slicing the frills out of his cars before they were even born. Forget bells and whistles, the man didn't even bother with horns. As he was gathering momentum like a rolling stone, he tore out the color options and yelled, "Paint them black." But where he really learned how to make his killing was when he visited the slaughterhouse. You see, when Ford saw the precision with which that system left bodies chopped, in his mind, he began to design the blueprint of the body shop we've come to know as the assembly line. And Ford's was an operation choreographed to perfection, where he kept his eyes on the road and nothing else. Now, by the time Ford's auto empire had hit fifth gear, half of all the trademarks in the country had his name on them, a name that was now tattooed in the history books along the likes of the greatest innovators to ever walk the earth. Now, in some ways, this is a happy ending story. But we are so obsessed with what Ford accomplished that we often forget that his competence came with a cost. You see, at the apex of Ford's empire, 15 million Model Ts were roaring down American streets, but the 20s are roaring louder. And as consumer pockets swelled, so too did their dreams, and so Chrysler and GM began to line their lineups with the sorts of features Ford had never dreamed of. They said, what about cars that can brake using all four wheels? Or what about cars that run on the stuff that we use to power our homes? And speaking of homes, what about a seat that's sealed off from rain and sleet in a car that can heat up at the press of a button? What about cars that are red? See, while consumer dreams were paving the road towards new destinations for automakers, Ford was still spinning his wheels on the Model T, determined to squeeze as much mileage out of it as it could take. But Ford's focus on efficiency meant abandoning the curiosity that inspired experimentation, and as a result, innovation at Ford stalled. And though far from fatal, by the time the Model T's production had coasted to a halt, Ford was miles behind the competition. And this is about where I wonder where Ford's road would have led him if just for a moment he'd let his inner poet take the wheel. You see, a poet might drive the same road to work every day, never pausing to notice where they pass on their way. That poet's work begins the moment curiosity compels them to stop the car and look around them. Only when they do this do they begin to notice the massive oak tree and the blade of sun that bleached its bark with golden sap, or how its scent wraps them in memories of a sweet 7th grade summer, and suddenly, that poet's got a poem to write. Suddenly the world that seemed so predictable yesterday becomes malleable in the palm of their hands. When we cling to the things we know we do well, we lose the ability to evolve with the needs of the world around us. And so today, as you ask yourselves what role curiosity plays in your work, I am challenging you to get out of the car. To ask yourselves where in your work you're spending more time maintaining creations from the past than writing new ones. And what detours you're willing to explore to discover a new destination. See, curiosity is the space we create between what we know and what we don't. It's how we become attuned to what's not working in our onboarding process. It's how we find out where the gaps are in our hybrid work culture. And so our goal is to put ourselves into situations where we're going to be inclined to ask ourselves questions about the work we do. The problem is that routine is the last place any of us want to be to nurture that sort of energy. I mean, you may have noticed that it seems like our best ideas often come to us in the time between structured time, when we are about to fall asleep or taking a shower or going for a bike ride. And the reason for this is that in this time between structured time, our frontal cortex, the part of our brain responsible for attention, for memory and planning, it goes into autopilot and it filters fewer thoughts, leaving us open to more observations about the world around us. And so my curiosity homework for you is to find a 1-hour block in your calendar every week that you guard with your life to do the sacred work that is nothing. I mean, don't stare at the wall. You can use this time to go for a walk or to reread a favorite childhood book, but the point is to leave this time unstructured, because that's how we develop this bird's eye view of the work we do and find out what sort of changes we can make to it. See, curiosity is about finding out what pathways emerge when we break an existing pattern. So commit to giving yourself that space and just watch what happens.